Here's your wrestling news for May 28th, 2022, and your headlines for today include Shinsuke Nakamura and Riddle's alliance on Smackdown and the potential fallout, what's going on with Sami Zayn on Smackdown, is Drew McIntyre's alliance with the New Day a storyline or a one-off, Ronda Rousey's new alliance and next opponent teased, real reason why ZELINA Vega has disappeared from WWE TV revealed, Charlotte Flair and Andrade El Idolo get married, update on Charlotte Flair's return to WWE TV revealed, Tony Khan throws massive shade at WWE for moving Money in the Bank location, RHEA Ripley spotted training with several AEW stars, CONTI taking legal precautions after receiving serious threats, former WWE star makes surprise appearance on AEW Rampage, and more. We are kicking off today with Smackdown, as one bit of good news is that the Blue Brand's women's division is moving along, and the early stages of Ronda Rousey's title reign already feel more exciting than almost the entirety of Charlotte Flair's last run as champion. Shotzi spent some time riling the women backstage up and trying to get them to go against Rousey and Raquel Rodriguez. She successfully did so to Natalya and Shayna Baszler, only to get locked out herself by Aaliyah to tease a non-title feud. On the other hand, Natalya and Baszler interrupted the championship contender match between Rousey and Rodriguez, leading to a tag team match where the two babyfaces won. There was a tease of a feud between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, which could end up being the SmackDown Women's Champion's next title defense. Or from last night's SmackDown, as the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre returned to SmackDown for the first time since WrestleMania Backlash, with Roman Reigns not defending his title at Hell in a Cell, WWE has to drag it on until September at the UK show, where they are expected to clash. This week, he was the surprise partner in the main event as the New Day would defeat the Brawling Brutes, with Xavier Woods getting the pinfall on Ridge Holland. There was nothing to indicate that this is a longer storyline, and we may just see them aligned together once or twice more at most. This week, the Usos opened the show on SmackDown, but were confronted by Shinsuke Nakamura, who has recently stated his intention to get back at the Bloodline. He has a reason after his tag team partner Rick Boogs suffered an injury at WrestleMania 38. Another superstar who recently lost his partner to an injury is Riddle, and that's exactly who came out when Nakamura said he had someone to help even the odds against the Usos. It's clear that the alliance is to set up Randy Orton's return, and the overall 20-time champion could be set to return to feud with Roman Reigns soon. Without a shred of doubt, the best part of the Blue Brand this week was the KO show featuring Sami Zayn. While they were buttering each other up, with Kevin Owens calling Zayn a locker room leader and the latter telling KO that Elias and Ezekiel were the same person, things would unsurprisingly take a quick turn. When Owens asked Zayn to join him on Raw, the conspiracy theorist declined due to his duties on SmackDown. KO questioned the Bloodline's appreciation for Sami Zayn and felt they were using him. Zayn would quickly turn and tell him that Elias and Ezekiel were two different people. Everything about this segment was gold, and it just goes to show how incredible the two men are in the ring. They're so incredible that it may only be after their careers when their greatness is truly appreciated. Charlotte Flair and Andrade El Idolo tied the knot on Friday in a ceremony in Mexico attended by several wrestlers. The couple exchanged vows in front of 160 people at Hacienda Mi Ranchito in Torreon, Andrade's hometown. WWE superstars Finn Balor, Apollo Crews, Rey Mysterio, and Lena Fanine, aka Nia Jax, were in attendance. We noted earlier how Flair was written off WWE TV earlier this month after she dropped the SmackDown Women's title to Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania Backlash. WWE announced that Flair suffered a fracture of the radius and would be out indefinitely. As per storyline, Flair suffered a broken arm after being put in an armbar through a chair by Rousey in their I Quit match. Speaking to BT Sport, Charlotte joked that she had to lose her SmackDown Women's title prior to the wedding, or it would have upset Andrade. "We have a date, it's summer in Mexico. I think Manny, Andrade, would be a little angry if I walked down the aisle with my title. He was like, Miami for the wedding. I do not want your hair to look like Charlotte. I was like, what does that mean? Just less makeup, he likes the fresh face." The newlyweds are reportedly headed to Costa Rica for their honeymoon. Slat Rock Wrestling sends our best wishes to the happy couple. We have some good news for Charlotte Flair fans who are already missing her on TV. WWE is now advertising her for the July 15th edition of SmackDown in Orlando, Florida, an indication that she will be back on television by at least mid-July. It should be noted that Flair's name doesn't appear on the graphic, but her face sure does. Should Charlotte go after Rousey's title or start a new feud with a fresh face? Sound off in the comments below. CONTI and Sammy Guevara get a lot of hate online, but some fans might take it over the line. The former NXT superstar isn't going to take it, and she put one hater on blast in a big way. CONTI shared some personal information of a hater online. Some might see this as targeted harassment, but CONTI saw it as justice. She not only let everyone know this hater's name, but she also included a photo of him and some direct messages. "This is absurd. His name is Dustin Dolezal, and he's been threatening Sami and I since January. He writes us every single day and apparently planning to do something with us in June. I'm taking legally precautions, but if something happens to us, y'all know who to look for." CONTI also included a tweet from this aggressive fan that said, "And cause that I'ma ruin her life and her future and really fuck with Sammy's home life cause this happened." Upon closer inspection of this guy's Twitter account, he seems like an Alexa Bliss fan. Now CONTI is taking legal precautions and letting everyone know to be on the lookout for this guy. CONTI and Sammy Guevara have been the subject of much online ire after going public with their relationship and appearing in a storyline on AEW television together. We have some news from Money in the Bank now, as due to poor ticket sales, WWE announced that Money in the Bank was moving out of Allegiant Stadium, home of the NFL's Raiders, to MGM Grand Garden Arena, a 17,000-seat venue. Tony Khan took to Twitter and threw massive shade at WWE. Speaking to the fans and media ahead of their Double or Nothing pay-per-view event set for Sunday, Khan broke the news to UFC President Dana White that WWE had to move out of Allegiant Stadium to MGM Grand Garden Arena. As evidenced in his second tweet, Khan called it a genius move for WWE to compete with UFC in Las Vegas for International Fight Week. That very night is the UFC 276 event at T-Mobile Arena, which will be headlined by Israel Adesanya defending his middleweight championship against Jared Cannonier. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that just 16,833 tickets had been distributed for the event as of May 6th. Allegiant Stadium holds up to 65,000 fans for Raiders games. Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast reported that the goal for WWE was to hold more events at stadiums, but not with the goal of selling out each of them, rather to sell between 20,000 to 35,000 tickets. WWE obviously felt confident in their abilities to get a decent crowd to purchase tickets for the Money in the Bank event, which had never been held in a stadium. WWE sent out a memo to fans that had purchased tickets for the event at Allegiant Stadium that they will be refunded and have the first chance to repurchase the tickets for its new location at MGM Grand Garden Arena. Rhea Ripley has received a lot of attention from WWE after joining Edge and Damian Priest's Judgment Day alliance at WrestleMania Backlash last month. Edge has also teased the addition of other superstars to the side, including Tommaso Ciampa, Paige, and others. Rhea Ripley recently had the opportunity to train with a number of notable AEW wrestlers at the gym. She recently took to Instagram to post a photo with notable AEW stars. Buddy Matthews, Tony Nese, and Brian Cage, as well as Melissa Santos and Flex Lewis, can be seen in the picture. All of the stars were training at the Dragon's Lair gym in Las Vegas. Ripley just revealed that she is dating Buddy Matthews on social media. Matthews will compete in the AEW Double or Nothing event in Las Vegas on Sunday. He will team up with Malachi Black and Brody King to take on Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, and Rey Fenix. We previously reported that Harland, Parker Boudreaux, was supposed to be in the group, but WWE decided against it before releasing him. We'll have to wait and see what's in store for Rhea Ripley. We have some news from Zelina Vega now. Vega faced Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair in singles competition on the April 11th episode of Raw, but slowly disappeared from WWE TV in the weeks that followed her last match. According to PW Insider, Zelina Vega is currently out of action due to an injury that required surgery. The outlet further stated that Zelina will miss 6 to 8 weeks of action and could return in time for SummerSlam. WWE's Queen Zelina Vega disappearing off television. We've confirmed Vega has been out of the ring following an in-ring injury that required surgery. The belief among those we've spoken to is that she'll likely be out of action for another 6 to 8 weeks, which means she'd be available to return around SummerSlam. There has been talk about her receiving a push upon her return, as sources have noted her willingness to do what was requested of her, and her hard work has been noticed behind the scenes. Zelina Vega returned to WWE in 2021 after a brief departure from the company. She became the inaugural Queen of the Ring at the Crown Jewel Premium Live event in October 2021. We have some big news now as Jeff Jarrett is returning to WWE for a major role. According to a report from PW Insider, Jeff Jarrett has come to terms on an agreement for a WWE return. The Hall of Famer looks to assume a high-level executive position from next week, dealing with the company's live events side of things. A year following his induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2018, Jeff Jarrett was brought back into the promotion to work as a backstage producer while making a few on-screen appearances. Shortly after being promoted to the creative team, Jarrett departed the company in January of last year. Nonetheless, he did make an on-screen appearance for WWE earlier this year, sharing a backstage segment with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs on Smackdown. Apart from having worked backstage in WWE with the same roster just a year back, Jarrett was responsible for a lot of backstage dealings on the TNA roster, some of whom are currently signed with WWE. Former WWE star Gangrel made a cameo appearance during Friday's live episode of AEW Rampage. Gangrel accompanied the Young Bucks to the ring for a match against Taylor Rust and John Cruz as Matt and Nick Jackson cosplayed the Hardys. The trio did their best impression of the New Brood, a former WWE stable consisting of Gangrel, Matt, and Jeff Hardy. Brandon Cutler, meanwhile, dressed up as Lita. After their victory, the Bucks turned on Gangrel until the Hardys made the save. The real Hardys then posed with Gangrel to loud cheers from fans at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas. This was Gangrel's second cameo for AEW following his brief appearance in Matt Hardy's Elite Deletion match against Sammy Guevara at the November 2020 Full Gear pay-per-view. And we're ending today with Sasha Banks and Naomi, as they both shocked many people when they walked out in the middle of Monday Night Raw last week. What entailed after that was not something either of them expected, as the company made it clear that they will never tolerate what Banks and Naomi did. In fact, the company isn't even paying them during their suspension. WWE has been merciless when it comes to doling out punishment to both of them. WWE indefinitely suspended both of them, and that was just the beginning. The company actively buried them on live television. They also removed Banks and Naomi from live events and stripped them of their WWE Women's Tag Team titles. According to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, Dave Meltzer revealed that WWE is not paying Sasha Banks and Naomi while they sit at home during their suspension. Both Banks and Naomi wouldn't even get the merchandise revenue, and Meltzer noted that WWE pulled their merchandise down from the online shop to send a message. We will have to see what happens, as Naomi's contract is running out soon, but it is unknown exactly how long Banks has left on her deal. Sasha Banks and Naomi are still listed on the active WWE roster even now. However, their status with the company remains questionable now, especially with how WWE is handling the situation. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.